Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live stream. Before we start, can you kindly tell me in the chat if you can see me and you can hear me? Please drop me in the chat to make sure we've got the connection working. Drop me in the chat if you can see me and you can hear me. Best way to use the chat will be from the YouTube app. Yes, I can see people. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. All right. In that case, welcome everyone to today's live Q&A, Story Up Your Business. My name is Diana Robertson. I'm the founder of Skillsme Academy, and I'm here just to welcome you and to introduce our lovely trainer, Irina, who will be holding this session. But before I do, a couple of house rules. So the way that this session works is that we have no content for you today. None, because we are tailoring this session entirely to you, entirely to your questions. And the way that it works is that first, Irina will be answering questions that have been pre-submitted to her. We send the link to everyone who registered, and then she'll be going through questions you submit online. So as soon as you have a question, I suggest to pop it in the chat so that once Irina gets to it, she will be able to answer it. So this session is fully for you. Basically, think of it as almost one-on-one coaching with Irina, answering any of your questions. But only one thing though, the questions have to be relevant to the topic. Story up your business. So storytelling in business. All right? All right, let's start then. I would like to welcome on stage our lovely and wonderful Irina Suvorova, who is an award-winning public speaker, communications skills trainer and coach, TEDx coach, B2B sales expert. She worked for 11 years in sales. And also, she's a storytelling trainer at Skillsme Academy. Please welcome Irina Suvorova. Hello, Irina.
Hi, Diana. Thank you for wonderful introduction.
Yeah, how are you today?
I'm perfect. And I'm so glad to see some faces already in our chat. Of course, not faces, but nicknames. So someone is interested in our session, and that's important for me.
Oh, well, I'll leave you to them. And guys, have fun and use this time with Irina. Bye.
Thank you, Diana, again. So let's start with our questions today. My first question which I received was from Sarah 6 hours ago. What stories shall I be sharing with my customers? Of course, firstly, Sarah, it depends on what kind of business do you have. But normally, good stories for branding are story about how you decided to start this business, story about your main values, about traditions in your company, if you have a team, about the importance of team member support. It could be a story of how did you help to some of your customer to solve particular problems, some pros and cons of using and not using your services. For example, story about I rejected to use some, I don't know, cosmetic procedures and what kind of coincidence did I have afterwards? What kind of events happened, for example, in what kind of situation I found myself afterwards, and what would happen if I use some procedures instead of course, if your business is related to some procedures in medicine or cosmetics. It was just an example. I improvised. So, Sarah, if you will specify your question, what kind of business do you have? I will also create some situation for you and several examples. But stories are best way to approach your customers because they are engaging your audience, they are provoking our emotions. You can easily follow the story and you can make your own conclusions afterwards, and this is the most important part, because nobody tells you in the story you should just buy my product or buy my services, but you show by the series of events that it's better to use this kind of service or to use exactly your company to reach an effect or to reach a success in something. I hope I answered. You can also ask additional questions in the chat regarding this topic. And the second question was more or less the same. This is a question from Australian Nature. This person is establishing a software development company now. How should I approach to prospect clients to get business? My mentor told me that I should have a story to tell them. Thank you for your question, Australian Nature. I can see that you have a business related to IT technologies. What are the main values in IT? Maybe it's a team support. Maybe it's a easier way to communicate with customers. Maybe it's importance of using artificial intelligence. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing now. But you can define what kind of values are the most important for you and transfer them firstly through your stories. If it's customer service, tell stories about how did you supported customer, for example, outside the working time when it was an urgent situation for customer. Maybe you saved not the life, but you saved, for example, bank account of this customer and saved it very fast, or something else. If your company will develop a very high complicated product, so you can tell stories with a very easy language about communication between your product development managers, for example, and customers, because it's important part of every business to establish clear communication, especially when we are talking about high complex project and we are talking about a team with different people, especially, for example, customers with more humanitarian mentality, and IT specialists more with technical background. So it's important to provide effective communication. So you can share stories about it. For example, how fast you can react on some trouble happened in the product, how fast your managers can fix the problem, etc., etc. Again, hope it was clear for you. We can also go deeper into this theme and go back to this question afterwards. Now let me see our chart. Yeah, I can also see several questions from Rich DeSisto. Thank you for being so active, Rich. And the first question from him is about the rule of points. Rich asks about what is the rule of points, or what is the best number of points to use during communication. I would rephrase this question to, in order this question be more related to stories. I would recommend to use only 3 points when you are using stories. It could be 3 examples of best service for your customer. It could be 3 steps while you were establishing your business, or 3 steps, 3 something in your career path, 3 periods, for example. How did you come to your current position or to your business now? Because 3 is ideal number of points which can be easily understandable and easy following for every person. Remember that we live in a high speed epoch, I would say, in a high speed time. We have different informations. We have a lot of distracting channels around us. Right now, maybe some one of you are watching this live stream, but also you are scrolling Facebook and Instagram news, and also trying to connect by WhatsApp with your colleagues or friends. And I am distracting you, and these channels are distracting you from this stream. So if I will give you too much information in the short period of time, it will be not so useful for you. Use the simple numbers. So 3 points. This is for this first question. Also, I have a question from this person as well. How important is the primary effect we see recency effect in your communication efforts? Do you favor one over for other? I would say that we have 3 main parts in every speech or in every story. It's the opening, main body, and the conclusion. Again, number 3. You can also I hear the logic here. You can also use 3 main parts for every of your stories. In the opening, our task is to impress the audience and to engage the audience, to get more attention for the next 30 minutes, for example, like for this stream. In the opening and in the body of the speech, you can share 3 examples, for example, or 3 short stories, or 1 long story about yourself, about your business. And in the conclusion, you can resume the most important facts, the most important, the key message of your speech. It could be the moral or call to action. And I would say you can repeat the same thought you can use in the opening of your speech. For me, the importance is the equal, the importance of opening and the conclusion of your speech. Because the most memorable part of the speech is the ending. But the most engaging part of the speech is the opening while we are fresh and while we are not making decision. We did not make a decision yet about if we should watch this stream or this speech until the end or not. That's it about this question. And let me check our chat. I can see only past questions. Yeah. I am an international student. Can I apply for Skillsme program? Yeah, great question, Hamid. You can apply for our course, and I think the link for our storytelling course will be provided in the chat right now by Diana. And this is online course which is taking place every other Thursday and every other Sunday, 7 p.m. London time, UK time. And it doesn't matter where do you study, but it's also nice to see different facts about people, so I can get a full picture of you guys. Because sometimes it's quite uncomfortable to sit here among the strangers, write just nicknames on the screen, even for public speaker with some years of experience. Daria, next question. How to create a captivating story of me as a founder? Daria, I would recommend you to specify what kind of business do you have, but again, you can create story about your development since, for example, your childhood. Recently, I have heard a story from a hairdresser in Copenhagen. I live in Denmark, so I have a lot of friends in Copenhagen. And she started her story that since her childhood, she dreamed about being hairdresser, and she used to cut hairs for every doll in the house. and she has a lot of dolls, many dolls. And it was very funny and it was very touching, I would say. It was nice to hear her story, and of course, it was captivating for me. And I would definitely visit her salon, beauty salon, when I will be in Copenhagen. And this is a very nice example. And thank you for this question, Daria. But still, you can specify what kind of business do you have, and we will continue. And let me see, last question from Rich. Can you give 3 examples of value to offer your customers as a way to organically create reciprocal brand engagement to further build that relationship? Again, what kind of business do you have, Rich? What values your business does have? For example, let's talk about toys for children. I would say 3 main values for this kind of company are family, safety, and ecology, or safety for children from the ecological point of view. And we can translate these values to customers through every story. For example, how important are to minimize negative effects of non-ecological toys. And stories about 2 women, it could be like theoretical persons. One have bought non-ecological toy from non-ecological material, and another one bought product of your company. And what kind of effects, what kind of events happened afterwards. This is one story. It could be very scary, by the way. You can also make it more smooth, make it easier, and talk about family and about happy moments of your child when this child will be playing with the company products. The most important is to engage the audience by emotions here. And I'm sure we can also find some values for another type of companies. Again, you can specify what kind of company do you have right now. And I can see in the chat another question from Felix. How long should stories be during sales presentations? I sometimes feel that I bore my customers. Any tips of making stories more interesting? I sell IT software to lawyers. Thank you, Felix, for specifying. Your story should not be long. Self-presentation should last from 1 to 2 minutes. Of course, it can vary a little bit according to different sources of information, but I would say not more than 2 minutes. Because afterwards, you can leave a space for questions. And it's more engaging for your audience and for your customers if they would have an opportunity to ask questions which are the most interesting in. I sometimes feel that I bore my customers. It's a common question, and I think here we have to talk about speech structure or story structure. Keep in mind that you have a key message or purpose in your speech. Your purpose is to sell your product by engaging your audience, by provoking any interest in your listeners, and what are the goals of your customers. What do you think? I think you know the answer because you are already researching this market, and the standard answer here is that they have their own problems and they would love to solve these problems. So you can talk especially about solving the popular problems of your customer, and emphasize that you can do it faster than other competitors, for example, or you can do it with your specific approach. And that's emphasize also that it's very important for you to solve particular problems because you are specializing on it, for example. But keep in mind your key message. You can form it, and you should form it, I would say, beforehand, and don't go deeper in detail. Again, leave space to the question. That's how you will not bore your customers if they will ask questions. That's why I'm trying not to make long monologues here, but read the questions and answer them. Will this webinar available to view later? I think Diana can answer this question. I think this webinar will be recorded. Is it true? Diana, can you answer please in the chat? One second, I will check the chat again. Yeah. Yes, we will be saving the recording. Thank you, Diana. And let's go to other questions. One of the common asked questions is it really necessary to use stories now or not? It's a modern trend. It's very popular. Storytelling from everyone. I would say you're not obliged to use storytelling for your business, but let's compare two strategies, with storytelling or without storytelling. I will use an example here. Maybe you have heard about Caudalie. It's a French French brand of cosmetics. And they have a very beautiful story about the brand and how they founded it. It was a young couple several years ago who were working for a tour in a chateau, in a palace, a family place on the south of France, where they are making wine. And they are making wine from I'm so sorry, from grapes, and they were throwing grapes bones away. And once they invited a researcher, scientist who was working on their particular research on the extract of bones, of grapes bones. And I'm sorry, not bones, grape seeds. I forget this word. And he stopped on the way when they were walking and said, "Oh, this is a treasure, and you are throwing away this treasure." It was about there is a very useful extract with many qualities, with the many useful vitamins, etc., in one seed, and it could be used in the cosmetics. And that's how they found an idea to create cosmetics from the seeds of grapes. And this is a successful product now. You can check Caudalie France and read the whole story yourselves. And for me, it was very engaging. And you can imagine women's audience, mostly because it's cosmetics, and a picture of chateau, of grapes, of wine, winery, summer on the south of France. It's very engaging and it creates some trust already. And I even didn't use any these cosmetics. But when I'm in a supermarket and I see different stands with a lot of cosmetics, the most interesting for me is to check Caudalie stand. That's very interesting. And if I will just say this is a cosmetics, I don't know, no name here without brand, let's say X, and this has been produced in Denmark by I don't know whom, and I don't know their idea, but I know this is a good cosmetics for you. What do you think? Will it be a proper promotion? Of course, I can start to talk about some qualities, some effects of these cosmetics, but without a story. Story will help you a lot to create, to engage the audience, to create attention, to add more emotions. I hope this example was enough for you. And let's see another question. Can you provide an example of a successful founder story? Well, firstly, Caudalie's story. For example, you can again check on Academy France. I'm not sure if it's possible to share this link in the chat, Diana. It's up to you, but you can Google it. And also, I have my favorite storyteller from Russia. His name is Fyodor Ovchinnikov, and he has a wonderful story. He founded first pizzeria. He has a lot of pizzerias now all over the world in different countries, mostly in Russia. And it's a franchise system. And he started for maybe 10 years ago or even earlier in Syktyvkar. It's a complex name, difficult to pronounce. That believe me, it's a very small city in Russia, far away from the capital, far away from St. Petersburg as well. And everyone thought that he was very ambitious and even a little bit crazy to found a pizzeria without any restaurant experience. But firstly, of course, he got some experience from McDonald's. He worked there and learned about their business model and how they were doing burgers and fries. And he started to create not only pizzeria, but also IT system for fast ordering. And when he started to do franchise system, he also was very attentive to the quality of the customer service. And he has an Instagram where he shared sometimes stories of the bad service in their pizzerias and how they solved these problems with particular partners. Because, he has a lot of restaurants and he cannot control all of them simultaneously. So sometimes bad things happens. Sometimes pizza can be delivered not so fast. Sometimes the quality of the product could be not satisfying, and sometimes the environment in the restaurant or the cleaning in the restaurant could be also not satisfying. So check again Fyodor Ovchinnikov, Dodo Pizza, the brand. And this is my favorite storyteller, as I said. Let's see other questions. I can see that it's 5:30 now. Diana, please give me a message in the chat. Should we stop right now and plan another session for questions which didn't be asked, which have not been asked now? All right. So it's time to finish. We will, I think, repeat this live stream maybe next month, maybe in 2 months. We will see. Hope it was useful for you. You can watch a recording, and also you can join me in the individual coaching one by one. You will see the link in the chat right now from Diana again. And also you have a link in the chat about our storytelling course where we will practice our stories in average once per week. In English, online, 7 p.m. UK time. Thank you for being here. It was a nice experience for me. And hope to be useful for you and hope to see you among our students. Thank you, Nancy. Bye.